Welcome to Hope is Here, bringing hope to those struggling with life's difficult situations.
Welcome to Hope is Here. My name is Greg Horn. We are continuing our conversation with Phyllis Mantelli. She has a wonderful, powerful book called Unmothered No More, The Healing Power of Walking Through Your Childhood Story. Phyllis is an author, speaker, and certified trauma coach. She helps people break free from toxic family patterns and discovering healing in God's love. She also hosts the Unmothered podcast, and she lives out in California where she loves spending time with her children and grandchildren. And so, Phyllis, thanks for being back with us again. We talked yesterday about, just a really challenging trauma that you went through as a childhood with an alcoholic mother, and we talked about, that yesterday in the program we shared about how generational dysfunction, a lot of times it's not just our parents, it was their parents, and so you're dealing with a lot of things from previous parent situations. So if you missed yesterday's program, I really would encourage you to go to our website, hopeisheretoday.org, hopeisheretoday.org, and catch that 14-minute program. I know you'd really be blessed by it. But Phyllis, let me ask you, a lot of people struggle with guilt when setting boundaries with their parents, and especially women with their mothers. How have you learned through your own personal life, and then also as being a trauma coach, how have you helped people reframe boundaries as an actual act of love?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is an act of love. I'm seeing some things on social media where people are really getting kickback for saying that they're setting boundaries with their parents, and it's not always about going no contact, and I think that can be cruel when there's just emotions involved. I would say, one, as a trauma coach, I would ask them, is there a neutral place where you guys can meet and be in a space where you can both get along? If that's possible, that's great. Also, one of the things I would say personally, when I took care of my mom for 16 years until she passed from dementia in 2007, and I did that lovingly to a woman that was not very lovable, but I really honored that for her. And so I tell people, I'm not setting boundaries because I didn't love my mom. I'm setting boundaries to make new things out of the family that I'm creating. If the person that you love is toxic, you have to set those boundaries. Otherwise, you're saying to your kids, I want to do things differently, but if you're allowing that parent or sibling or whatever it is to come into your home and do whatever they want, disrespecting your rules and the way you want to raise your family in a different way, then your family is not going to believe you. And they're not going to say, well, I have respect for you, but then when mom comes over, I lose all respect for you because you can't even hold the line. And so that's really what boundaries are, is it's just a loving way to say, I still love you, but we're going to have to meet somewhere else. And that's kind of what I did with my own mother, is I would take things to her place. I would bring food, and I would bring the kids there when needed, and I would do those kind of things out of love. But my house was off limits because I had to create something new.
Well, I love in your book you give such good specific examples, and then in each chapter you give people a chance to, you call it a place to process, and give them journaling questions to talk about things like the dysfunction and the boundaries, and then even a place to write it. And I know in my own life of having done this sometimes, just talk about the importance and how it helps with when you kind of answer some questions and take time to journal, and how God has wired us up and we can get those things out through writing them down. Talk about some of the healing that goes on through that process.
Yeah, for me, and I know for most of my clients, journaling has been just a godsend, because a lot of times we can't bring our hurts to people. I want to caution people, if you are dealing with something really heavy, you don't have to go to a small group and, start talking about your issues, or even just a random person thinking that that's going to heal you, you can start by journaling, and you can write out things and process with God, like through that journaling. Ask Him to show you more. Tell me what is blocking in, my capacity that I'm not remembering these things. I will say with trauma, a lot of times we can't remember specifics, and what that is like your brain has protected you. So that's actually a gift that has been given to you so that you don't have to like freak out over every little detail. So I wouldn't force that, but I think journaling really helps you process a little bit better. And then in time, you can maybe take those things to a trusted person and say, I just want to talk about this out loud, because what I say is Satan loves to keep secrets, and so what he does is he tells you, well, if people really knew who you were and what you've done and what you've gone through, nobody's ever going to like you. And that's a complete lie, and the opposite of what I have found and what my clients have found is that, excuse me, when you actually speak up and tell things that are strong in your heart that you need to get out of your body, people will rally around you and they will cheer for you and they will help you.
Amen and amen. As I heard a pastor say many years ago, with the revealing starts the healing. And so that's such a powerful example that you shared, and I've seen it in my own life and many, many others. If you just tuned in, we're talking with author Phyllis Mantelli. She's written a wonderful new book called Unmothered No More, The Healing Power of Walking Through Your Childhood Story. Phyllis, in your book, you write about silent vows and agreements that keep us stuck. Can you explain what those are and how they impact people's lives?
Yes, and it's so sly the way this happens. And when I learned about it, I was in shock. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what happens. So silent agreement and vows. So you make a silent agreement. A lot of times, we come from families that I think I talked a little bit about it yesterday, is where we just say, well, that's just the way it's always been in our family. Like, we have to do X, Y, Z. And it's very specific and very learned behavior that the parent has told you it has to be this way, or possibly something that has happened to you that has been hurtful, maybe someone that has abused you, and you make this silent agreement to, I am never going to do this again. And so you go in this atmosphere of like, I am going to draw a line here, and this is the way it's going to be, but I can never change it, and I can never look at it in a different way. And so we make these silent agreements with each other that it has to be this way and this way only, and that will get us stuck. And then vows. The vows are the things I will never. So if you've been abused, you'll say, I'll never let anyone touch me again. And this is what happens to a lot of women who have been abused sexually. You will see what they will do is they will vow that no one will look at them again. So that can create an eating disorder. So they may gain a lot of weight so that nobody will ever touch them or look at them. That is a silent vow and an agreement that they have made with themselves so that they can be protected, but it's actually damaging to them. So those are the kind of things that we do and we tell ourselves. So it's just time to question things a little bit. Why do I react this way? Why do I feel it has to be this way and not another way? Like, those are important things because those are things that come from trauma. They're not really coming from common sense.
Well, one of the things I also like about your book is at the beginning of each chapter, you have a Bible verse, and the one that you just talked about, silent vows and agreements, you start off with 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 15. It says, look to the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always. Which leads me to ask you, how does faith play a role in healing from toxic or absent mother wounds?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, yeah, it's really layered and it's hard, but I will say, God is your parent. Number one is that we may have gotten the short stick on parents here on earth, but what we have to go back to is the Father in heaven and know that even though he has given us this crazy family to deal with. I look at that now, and I know that he chose me to be the voice of hope and encouragement to others. And so even though I've walked this really strange life that I wouldn't have picked for myself, where I am now, the journey that he has brought me to, I just know that he leads our steps. And so I'm kind of honored that he's chosen me to be the voice for this particular situation, and I have a passion for helping other women through this and letting them know that your story doesn't end just from the beginning. Like, just because you've been raised by this kind of parent doesn't tell the whole story. I can look back, I'm going to be 69 this year, and I can look back at my whole history and see where God has walked me through each single place and said, like, I'm not going to leave you, I'm going to guide you. And those times continue to be hard. Like, nothing is wrapped up in a nice little bow, but I will say that he's given us some beautiful, beautiful light at the end of some dark tunnels.
Let me ask you this. What practical first steps can a woman take if she's just beginning her healing journey?
There's a quote that I always use is, you can't change generational dysfunction until you change the dysfunction in you. So I think it starts with you. And the most simplest thing is to just, it's kind of like an AA thing where you just say, I'm the one, I'm the problem. And I have to be able to admit to what is not working, what is giving me rage or shutting me down and making me numb to all of this pain, and just really getting curious about your story. I think our stories are so layered, and it's so good to look back, even if you have, like, not big T trauma, but we call little T trauma. Maybe you just have parents that were very rigid, and, not everything has to be this explosive, crazy family, but it could be a family that doesn't listen. Do you not like that? Then you start there and just question it a little bit. Well, why were they? And how can I change that? Maybe let me write some of these things down. It goes back to journaling again. Like, write some stuff down, reach out to people. Coaching, I'm a trauma coach. I take clients on all the time, but any kind of a trauma coach, there's pastors that are informed with emotional issues, like just things. If you're feeling a little off and you just feel like, I don't think people understand me, and I just feel like I need to talk about some stuff that's happened to me in the past, I would start there. Look for somebody who's really certified or a therapist or a pastor or a really, really good trusted friend, and just start being honest about your life. It starts there, and then you can build from there.
We only got about 45 seconds, but for women listening right now who feel unmothered and unseen, what encouragement would you offer them today?
Well, one, you're not alone, for sure. There's a whole group of us. We actually have a private Facebook group called the Unmothered Community that you can answer 3 questions and join that and know that you have some other people, that can stand with you. And I would say, again, just, talk about someone with your emotions, and don't hide that or keep that to yourself, because I think that the more you can bring other mama mentors alongside of you, the more love you're going to feel. God's going to bring those people to you that you need in your life right now.
Wow, such powerful stuff. Well, you've been blessed to be talking the past 2 days with Phyllis Mantelli. She's got a wonderful book called Unmothered No More, The Healing Power of Walking Through Your Childhood Journey. She is an author, a speaker, a certified trauma coach. She also has a podcast called the Unmothered Podcast, so I would encourage you to check that out, and her Facebook page that she just shared with, and we'll have her contact information along with the podcast. Just go to our website, hopeisheretoday.org. That's hopeisheretoday.org. I want to encourage you to get a copy of Unmothered No More by Phyllis Mantelli. If you've been blessed by this program, I hope you'll share it with somebody else. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on Hope is Here.
Thank you for listening to Hope is Here podcast. To listen to one of our previous programs or to make a tax-deductible donation, please go to our website, hopeishere.today. That's hopeishere.today. If you have been blessed by Hope is Here, would you consider making a donation to help this ministry continue to reach thousands in Central Kentucky every day. It's simple and safe. Go to our website at hopeishere.today, where you can make a safe and secure online donation, or you can find our address to mail a check. All donations are tax deductible and they are greatly appreciated. Please make your donation today at hopeishere.today. Again, that's hopeishere.today.